XRP Eyes 50% breakout versus Bitcoin as technicals mirror 2024 setup. In today's update about XRP, we are going to check out this article and then we're going to go on XRP versus Bitcoin's chart and see what is going on in that area. And also at the end of the video, we are going to check out XRP USD chart as well and see what is happening and can we expect a move on the upside to happen soon. So with all that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones. And I saw this article and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should talk about what is happening in XRP versus BTC. So let's just read this one and see what are they talking about. XRP is back in a familiar position and not in a bad way, okay? On the XRP Bitcoin chart, one specific signal is flashing almost the same way it did in the late 2024, right before XRP jumped 50% against BTC in less than 2 weeks. That move came after a volatility squeeze. And now, nearly 4 months later, the same pattern is starting to take shape again. At the moment, XRP is trading at this number relative to Bitcoin, and the Bollinger Bands, this is important, which measures volatility, have narrowed to about 8.5% from the top to bottom. For comparison, back in January of 2024, the same indicator showed about a 9.5% squeeze just days before XRP broke out from this number relative to Bitcoin and peaked at this number, which is about, let's say, like a 10x move on the upside. So is this the case or not? Let's go on XRP versus Bitcoin chart and see what is happening. And as you can see, yes, that is correct. Bollinger Bands at the moment are narrowing, but this is not the full story. And that's why I believe, sure, checking news is definitely good and it does keep you in the loop, but you shouldn't completely count on them. No, you should combine the news with your own analysis and then you have, I would say, a decent understanding of what is happening in the chart. And here is my own analysis. You can have a different opinion. I will absolutely respect it. You see, the last time that in Bollinger Bands in XRPBTC, we were very narrow, it was actually right in here. And what happened next? We got a big move up. Let's check out some more examples. Okay, here is another beautiful one right in here. What happened next? We got a huge move on the upside. Another time is actually in here. And what happened next? We didn't get a move up. Instead, we got into, I would say, a respectable downtrend. Another time is actually right in here. And what happened? We got a move up. Let's check out some more examples. There we go. This is actually a good one. In Bollinger Bands, right around this area, the volatility was extremely low. And followed by that, we got a decent move down. Let's actually measure this one real quick from this point to about here, about like a 20% move on the downside relative to BTC. Now, this is the key. Bollinger Bands do not tell you what is going to happen next and whether we are going to get a move on the up or maybe downside. No, Bollinger Bands are here to tell you, look, soon we are going to have some volatilities. It doesn't really tell you that volatility is going to be on the up or maybe downside. And the way that it works, I think I talked about this one before, is like VIX volatility index in the stock market. Whenever you see VIX going up, that means we do have some volatilities in the market. And in the recent example, VIX has spiked. And what happened in the stock market? Actually, we have seen a decent move on the downside. Now, there are some times that VIX is going up and we are having also at the same time a move up in a stock market. The point is that Bollinger Bands are measuring volatility and they do not provide you with a signal that says whether we are going to go up or down. They just tell you soon we may see some volatility happening and you need to combine them with your own method of analysis in order to have an understanding of, for example, are we going to get a move up or maybe a relatively strong downtrend? And that's why I need to do some Elliott wave analysis in here and tell you what is happening. So in XRP's chart, relative to BTC, we talked about this subject, I believe also in the previous videos. I think we are having a beautiful, from this point, 5 wave up into a wave 1, correction for wave 2, probably an ABC zigzag. huge 5 wave on the upside into wave 3. And at the moment, I would like to say, more likely than not, we are on our way to have a correction structure into wave 4. And what's going to happen next? Another move up into wave 5, suggesting there will be once again a period of time where XRP is going to outperform BTC. Question is that period going to start from now or soon, or maybe we should expect some more chopping around, potentially even some moves on the downside in this chart? Well, you see, I believe in XRP in the short term, we shouldn't really expect a whole lot. Why is that? Let's check out this move down right in here. And as you can see, I think we can all agree this is a beautiful and clear 3-wave movement, potentially in form of an ABC. Now, in this chart, when we didn't have this move down, I was kind of able to tell you, you know what, maybe starting from the lowest low right in here, we are having a series of 1-2s. And for example, this can be a 1-2, but on a lower degree relative to this 1 and 2. And the idea is that soon from here, we're going to get a big move up. However, in the recent move down, we actually took all these lows. And to me, this suggests that we do not actually have an impulse in this move on the upside. And odds are this is also a 3-wave movement. I would say potentially in form of an A, B, C zigzag. And the end of our B leg, I think, can be right in here. Maybe this is like an A, B, C, D, E, a triangular structure. I think that is possible. Now, we can have from this point 2 different scenarios. Scenario number 1 suggests maybe in XRP, we are having a WXY starting from here, and it's going to be in form of a zigzag followed by a double zigzag, or maybe generally this WXY is going to be a double zigzag. Overall, this scenario suggests in this chart, we're going to get a move down, and in that move, we are going to take this low. Question, is this scenario possible? The answer is yes. Is it likely? For now, this is not my base case. Why is that? You see, this chart going down this much to me suggests that in Bitcoin, we are most likely going to see, if this is happening, a very strong move on the downside. And that, for now at least, is not my base case. So what is my primary scenario at the moment? I'm gonna say, because we are at the moment having a correction structure into our wave 4, there is a chance that we may have, if I just take this one, sorry about that, okay, an A, B, C, D, E, which in terms of Elliott waves, we call it a triangle. And for our sub waves, excuse me, my mouse is a bit glitchy, there we go, we need to be able to find ABCs into every single wave. Let's just take this one, okay. ABC on the upside into our B leg, okay, ABC down into C from this point, ABC up into wave D, and this is our final ABC down into our E leg. And then from these areas, we can expect a very strong bounce back in order to complete our blow off top phase. And then maybe, okay, we are going to enter a prolonged bear market. Now let's go on the live chart and count some waves. So this is my primary scenario. We said this is ABC down, followed by that ABC on the upside. And I think we can argue this is an A, B, C down to about here. And this might be an ABC on the upside, but after it, we may have another move down in form of an A, B, C. And this is the key. In this move on the downside, we are not actually going to take this low. And then, well, okay, right in here, we can say our ABCDE, our triangle structure, is complete, and it's going to be time to get another phase of the bull run. I think makes sense for us to at least right now consider this scenario as our primary case, since I believe downsides in BTC and probably I would say the whole crypto market are quite limited. Now, if this is happening in the short term, I think we can say this is an impulse up into a correction structure into our B leg. And that article, if you remember, said that Bollinger Bands at the moment suggest that maybe we are going to get some sort of volatility. And because of my analysis in here suggesting this is an ABC on the upside, well, okay, I'm gonna guess that volatility is actually going to be on the upside and we're gonna get something like this. However, I do not believe that from here we are going to continue our move up in order to take the highest side. That can be possible, do not get me wrong, but again, that is not really based on what I'm seeing at the moment, my base case. So let's have a quick conclusion. I think in XRP versus Bitcoin chart, there will be soon a period of time where we are going to outperform BTC. But after this move, I think we should expect some more chopping around. And then after this ABC down is over, we can expect another strong uptrend to start. Now, question. If we're going to have this move up in XRP BTC, what is the translation exactly in XRP USD chart? Let's go on our own chart. I think it was from Binance. Let's actually check this one out from crypto.com. So if you remember in the previous video, we were talking about the possibility of having a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into wave 3. And I think this is actually a correction structure down into our wave 4. And what's going to happen next? I think we're going to get at least another move up into wave 5. And the likely target for that move can be reaching to about at least the lower band of this important resistance area, about, let's say, $2.50, meaning from the current point or maybe a bit lower, doesn't really matter. We can expect like a 20-25% move on the upside. I think that is realistic. And if we get something like this in XRP versus Bitcoin, I think you can also expect that move up into RC leg to happen. Now, question, what happens after an impulsive structure on the upside? If you are a regular viewer of the channel, you know the answer. We're going to have a move down. That's why number one, from my point of view, right in here, we do not actually have a trading setup in XRP. And number two, we need to be a bit patient and see a slow and choppy move on the downside. And assuming that we see in here the right structures, okay, in here we can be very optimistic in XRP and potentially open some long positions. And by the way, I think if this move down happens, at that point you are going to see the E leg of our triangle in XRP versus BTC to happen. And well, okay, this scenario is truly in play on a higher degree. What do we have? Probably I would say wave 1, correction for 2. And what is next? Big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So overall, I think in XRP, we are looking optimistic, and soon, I'm not really exactly sure when, but soon we can expect another move on the upside. But then after it, I'm looking for some sort of a move down to come in, and I'm hoping that that move is going to be in form of a correction structure. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XRP's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.